New Brew Thursday! Woo! And we're doing Hangar 24 today. They're up the road a bit.
They're in the land of red.
Local. Red, yes.
They're in Redlands, California.
Red rum.
We've had them on the show. We've had their beer on the show once before when we were at Killarney's.
Yeah.
We did their double IPA.
Yeah, very good, very tasty beer. They do quite a few really good beers. Their flagship beer, if you will, is the Orange Wheat, which is what Redlands is known for.
It's ubiquitous. It is everywhere out here. But
Well,
it's a great beer, so,
you know, Southern California, it's oranges, citrus, you know. This used to be nothing but citrus groves.
Right.
So, but yeah, they're
Now they're housing tracts.
they're very well known for their orange wheat. I've said it before. That's kind of a, although lately I haven't met a lot of people who don't like craft beer, but that's like my conversion beer for people who just like.
I think their pale ale is a little bit more my speed for that, just because the orange wheat gets a little too orangey on my side of things.
Well, that's that. I mean,
but I know a lot of people that do love that beer.
Right.
So. And still, it's almost like the fat tire for this area. You know how everyone's like fat tire, and now they love beer. You know, it's kind of like you said, it's like beer can be more than what you've been drinking.
Right.
So, but it's cool because they have their main line. It's like the orange wheat, the pale. They have an alt. Which is basically an amber.
I love their alt beer.
It's a great beer.
That's a tasty beer.
Yeah, but then they do a bunch of other stuff. Like I had their Munich Helles just recently.
Oh yeah.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best domestic examples of a Munich Helles that I've had.
We were at their third anniversary too. Steve and I were, or me and Steve were, whatever. And their third anniversary beer was really good too.
Yeah.
Like their second anniversary beer was good too.
Actually, that's the first time I had their Columbus IPA, which I liked a lot too. So they have a good lineup of beers.
Their beer's all pretty much good.
So they're doing this thing called the Barrel Roll series, and this is the number 2 in that series. What was the first one?
The first one was Barrel Aged Imperial Porter.
Which is what I thought this one was. I was wrong.
No.
This one's actually a strong ale, and it's brewed with it's aged in oak, but it's also brewed with Brettanomyces.
Yeah, it's a strong Belgian Golden that's also brewed. It's really wacky.
I don't know why I keep grabbing the bottle.
It's okay. But
I want to touch this bottle so bad.
Yeah, it's brewed with.
Ooh, I need to have some Belgians tie their mucilage.
It's brewed with apple cider.
Take a break.
And
Six turns. 6 turns.
We're calling you out, Hangar 24.
Oh, we love you.
Hey, Brewdog, you're a Brewdog fan.
Yeah,
boy.
you too, Brewdog. What the hell? Get on.
No,
point.
that was supposed to be a good thing. You're like, oh, that makes it okay.
You are.
But anyways,
Come on, Steve. Don't rape it.
it's it's a Belgian Golden brewed with apple cider, dark, I believe like dark sugar or caramel, something like that, and then
Caramelized sugar. Yep.
Yeah. And then Brettanomyces, and it's aged in second fill bourbon barrels.
So I'm going to go on record before we even taste this beer, because this beer is, as of yet, unreleased. It will not actually release until Saturday. And by Saturday, I mean the Saturday for you, which is 2 days from you watching this right now, not us shooting this a week ago.
Unless you watch it after that Saturday, then
It's already
Saturday before you're watching this.
Right.
Probably.
So this is obviously the point that I'm making is this is the first time that we're going to ever have tried this beer.
So it's a new brew Thursday.
Literally.
For all of us.
We are going into this beer blind.
We want to say a quick thanks to Nate Squillis for making this possible to get this to us.
Yeah, he provided the hookup. So
I will go on record as saying I don't like apple in beer. So if I have a face, it might take me a minute to get used to it.
I'm a fanboy.
We'll see
like
where it
apple.
goes. We'll see where it
I like
goes.
All right, so cheers to Hangar 24 and their great beer.
This smells awesome. First off,
it does smell really good. I will say that it's got a like almost a Apple Jacks smell to it. Which
I'm surprised at how much the Brett's coming off.
Yeah.
Like it's got a lot of funk to it, but it has that like
that fruity pebbles-ish kind of thing.
It also has like caramel sugar. Wow. I'm getting a little bit of the apples, but I'm getting a lot of barrel, too. It has a lot of that like vanilla. It almost adds like a sort of viscous quality. The strong ale side of it is definitely stronger. So you're gonna I do get a lot of the oak characteristics. I get a lot of the vanilla characteristics. I think it's really, really, really good on that front. The apple does bother me a little bit.
Really?
Yeah,
It's that like.
It's that pronounced. Well, because that is a particular flavor that I'm sensitive to. So I can like I can taste that in beer really quickly.
See, it's interesting because for me, it's like when you think apples in beer, a lot of times people think of acetaldehyde, which is that
You mean
really
acetaldehyde?
Don't get me started.
Girls.
But yeah, pronunciation. But that's a really like sharp, like bracing.
Right,
kind
this
of,
is not
like,
at all
cutting
the off flavor that you get for apples and beer.
Well,
Like,
and
and I
that's
don't want to come across that way as saying like, oh, this tastes like unfermented beer and whatever. That's not at all what I'm saying. This is, if apple is your thing, this is a fantastic beer. Apple's not my thing, and that's why I'm saying that. Like, as a kid, I would never eat an apple until the doctor was there all the time, and I was like, go away, I don't want to eat an apple.
I don't get like as much apple as I think you're trying to express that this beer has.
Neither do I, honestly. I think it gives it a little bit of like an interesting kind of fruitiness in the back, but I'm getting a lot more like Belgian and
Well,
sugar
that's
and
why I
barrel.
said I'm very, very sensitive to that flavor.
I get that more.
So.
I get more of that caramelized, like I guess that's a candy sugar-esque kind of thing. If you were just to taste the sugar, before you use it, but I get more of that sweet sugar, a little tiny bit of the apple, enough to where it's complementary in my opinion. It's,
I
it's
don't
like
think
a
it's-
back-end apple flavor, kind of like if caramel apple. You know what I mean? If you have like a little piece of a caramel apple kind of thing.
I think that, as much as I dislike apple flavoring in general, or apple flavors in general, I do think this is a really delicious beer. It's very easy to drink. It's tasty. I think if anything, the apple cider notes are kind of like, they break through some of the typical like fusel notes that you get off the oak and the strong age aspect of it, because I get almost no fusel qualities off this at all.
I don't get any fusel,
especially for being 9.5%.
Yeah, exactly.
This is really good.
I'm really enjoying the nose on this.
Yeah.
It's got this really interesting, like on the nose, because the differences between American oak and French oak is like if you have something in French oak, it's usually a lot more vanilla pronounced. Like winemakers will talk a lot about this, and then American oak is a lot more like cinnamon, like spicy kind of forward.
Right.
And so on the nose, I get a lot more of that like cinnamon kind of quality.
Right.
It adds like a sort of interesting kind of spiciness along with the bread. It's like,
Yeah, the Brett works. I think the Brett is almost what melds these two things together.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it brings the strong age and the strong ale and the apple cider together in a way that blend properly. Because I think without the Brett, it would totally just be way too like change directions.
it would clash a little bit, but
Yeah, the Brett really ties it together perfectly.
It's like the dude's rug. It really ties the room
ties
together.
together.
I think this.
The Brett is the dude's rug. That's the hashtag for this
beer
episode.
This is a great beer.
This is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not trying to say I don't like this beer. I'm just trying to say I don't like apple. So that's all.
The warmer it gets, I do get more of the apple flavor.
Yeah.
But it's really good apple flavor.
I'm really surprised. This isn't really something that you would, a kind of combination that you would think of. It's like,
Well, yeah, when you told me
golden
this, I was
ale.
like, I'm looking at you like, really? Strong ale? Aged
Yeah.
in oak with Brettanomyces?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even those three together, a little bit weird.
Yeah, it's kind of
No,
like-
I think that's weird. I mean,
Not
that's-
weird, but it's not something you see all the time.
Yeah, it's
And
not-
then
it's not
when
something
you
you
throw in
usually
the apple cider and caramelized sugar, you're like, whoa, who was doing shrooms over at Hangar 24 when they brewed this beer? That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
There's nothing wrong with doing some shrooms when you
Just
come up with your
'cause it's
recipes.
the IE doesn't mean you're on shrooms.
It opens up your mind to new possibilities.
Yeah.
So don't even think Willy Wonka wasn't on shrooms when he created that chocolate room. Hello.
So are we
Turns it
gonna
up.
go off to Master Pairings?
I was wondering, speaking of shrooms, not that
Yeah,
kind of shrooms, it'd
since-
probably be shiitake shrooms. Bam.
Wow. Since Matt didn't bring any pairings for our show,
fail.
called out.
Fail.
We're gonna send you off to Bill, and Bill's gonna have pairings for you, and they're gonna be delicious, and you're gonna like it, and your mouth's gonna water. See, it's already started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Master Pairings with your host, Bill Sisak, known as Dr. Bill in the craft beer community for the last 30 years. And
Stephen Johnson.
today, Stephen, we're doing a little bit of my Firecracker Shrimp. Basically, it's just a version of a spicy shrimp. Szechuan style udon noodles, some snow pea, shiitake mushrooms, little scallions, ginger, and a lot of hot.
A lot of hot.
A lot of hot, a lot of heat, a lot of peppers, a lot of good stuff. And with it today, we're going to pair one of Stone's newer collaborations, their Baird Ishii Stone Green Tea IPA. It's a fabulous double IPA that we brewed after the tsunami.
The tsunami.
The tsunami.
The tsunami, March 11th.
And we did this so that we could give all the proceeds to the relief fund.
Right.
And with us, we have a great craft brewer, Brian Baird, who's actually an American expat that went over there, married a Japanese woman, and started Baird Brewing, to some really good beers. And Yoshi Ishii. Yoshi was a intern at Stone for 5 years.
Right.
And then worked at a couple breweries and starting a new brewery now.
And so in Guam now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so this is a great IPA that we infused with green tea. So let's give it a shot. One of the great things about beer is, like I always talk about, is how versatile it is for pairing. You know, you have the carbonation, which is scrubbing bubbles, as Garrett Oliver from Brooklyn Brewery is wont to say. You have the bitterness, which cuts through fat beautifully.
Right.
You have sweetness, which cuts through the hottest food. And then you have the caramelized notes that have that Maillard effect, you know, that play really well with the caramelization of meats and vegetables that goes perfectly with the roasting of the grains and the malts. But another great thing for those of you who like hot food, I do, if you like it hot, go with something bitter. What it does, it still soothes your palate on the front and mid, but then it gives you this nice lingering heat towards the back end that makes it really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, I hear a lot of different people, they kind of go back both ways, and that some people are like, oh, I never would pair anything spicy with an IPA, and I'm like, well, you should try it, because it's really good.
Yeah, it's excellent. Now, there's basic tenets to learn by, which a lot of people follow, and they're good building blocks, but I've been pairing for 25 years, you know, because I didn't start right away, because I was just a young guy. But once I got into it in the 80s, I started to find out that a lot of rules are made to be broken and extrapolated on, and this is definitely one of them, where it's just great to do. So, cheers. Big, beautiful beer.
Yeah, it's like a 9% beer.
9.2.
9.2. And yet even as big as it is, and it's the hoppiness on it, and the green tea gives it such a nice, clean, refreshing taste.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So it's a big beer. Great hop bill. It's got a lot of Pacific Rim hops.
Right.
And let's see how the food is. Hot. Let's see what the IPA does with it. So there's 2 points a lot of times where heat really gets to the person. On the very front, their lips and their tongue, and going down their throat. What happens here is you still get that really nice warmth on the front of your palate and mid-palate, but it soothes it. It makes it totally enjoyable, not uncomfortable at all.
Right.
It totally quenched that, and it left this long warmth that goes all the way from front to back. That's just there.
Yeah.
And it's I love this. I love big IPAs with Mexican food, Chinese, Thai especially. Anything spicy?
This is really good. Since we're talking Japanese food, what about like sushi, that kind of thing? Would that work with an IPA like this?
It will work with an IPA. I try to avoid that when I do my Master Pairings sushi, Master Pairings beer and sushi at Stone, because people expect that. Because there's a reason why cultures like Japan, China, Thailand, Burma, Indonesia have clean, crisp lagers with their spicy food, because it quenches the thirst and cuts through it, which is a lot what the IPA is doing, except the bitterness allows it to linger a little better, I think. Because what you're relying on the clean, crisp lager, you're getting a little bit of that, but you're also getting that bready maltiness that comes through on a Pilsner, for example, or a lager. So what this does is it enables you to accentuate it. So you could definitely do it with sushi, especially with wasabi. Plays really well. Yeah, IPAs are great with that. When I do my pairings, I like to do funky stuff like raspberry lambics with sushi and stouts and doppelbocks and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a perfect match.
Well, this works really well. This is very delicious.
Yeah, I can't stop eating it. Anyways.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks for coming to another Master Pairings.
So we're back. Master Pairings was awesome. I enjoyed it thoroughly. You can probably see that on my face. But not now, then.
Well, and now.
So what I'm enjoying thoroughly now is Hangar 24. You guys make awesome beer, a fine collection of beers. I'm very, for a newer brewery,
3 years old.
3 years old, for them to be going into the barrel series stuff already is pretty impressive.
And it's it's kind of like a logical step at this point, which
Right.
I really like. I mean, the fact that you have a good sized regional brewery, and it's kind of a no brainer to go into this
Right.
experimental
I think
stuff.
they're at a great time for that, because I think these days we kind of go both ways. Like, there's breweries that have been around for like 10, 11 years that are kind of still not going into the barrel thing. Barrel aging is a whole different process aside from brewing. And doing it properly is really, really hard. And so I think it's great when you can see a brewery that's taken the time to get their lineup of beers dialed in and tasting great and being exactly what they want to be and very consistent, and then saying, now let's tackle the barrel thing.
Yeah.
Versus, because there are some breweries that are like, I've been around for 2 months. I brewed 3 beers. I got barrels now. Woo! You know, and it's like, maybe work on consistency.
Well,
You know?
well, you can't say that necessarily because you don't know what their background is.
No, totally, and I understand that. But I
So-
mean, once you go into commercial brewing, it's considerably different than home brewing and whatever. So that's just my opinion. This the opinion of this particular beer.
Basically,
Which
what
doesn't
he's
matter
saying,
at all.
He's glad Hangar 24.
Word.
He's glad Hangar 24 got their style down, and now they're
Right. I'm glad. Basically, I'm glad they brew awesome beer because I enjoy drinking it. That's what I was kind of saying.
all right.
Yes, indeed.
So,
Yes, indeed.
this is a great beer.
Thanks
It will
for
be
bringing-
available in the Southern California area. If you are in the Redlands area and you don't want to go to the brewery, but you want to find a cool craft beer bar that has it, there's a few. Killarney's. Check them out.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey, shout
are
out
they
to
gonna cake
Dave.
it too?
I have no idea.
Well, they did 1,355 bottles
Which we got number 1350.
of.
Hey.
Yes, exactly. I kind of always want, I want bottle number 1 or I want bottle number 1,355.
No, I want bottle 800.
I want
Right
bottle
in the middle of
666.
Right in the middle of the.
Everything.
I don't want the first and I don't want the dregs.
Yes.
No, but again, cheers to Hangar 24. You guys are doing great stuff. They have a huge following in the Redlands area. It's awesome.
Yeah.
They have really, really tapped into the community out there, so that's impressive. And thank you again for supplying us this bottle and letting us try it before it goes live. It was awesome. And until next week, stay safe.